All right. So, like I said, I was going to do a lot more like 2K videos as well as this year, just a lot more gaming videos in general. And since I talked about 2K in my last gaming video, I wanted to talk about it a little more, considering that we now have the release of the demo, which is free. And you can test out the new My Player Builder as well as play 6 full games with 6 different builds. So, more so, you can play a game per build. And I have to start this by sort of letting you guys in on where I was at. If you watch my past videos, you know that I thought there was a jump from 18 to 19, but there was a certain stopping point in terms of it moving from, let's say, a more arcade-based game to a more competitive game. It didn't get there. It kind of stopped and was just an arcadey, sort of corny ass non-simulation basketball game that pretended to be such when you consider the amount of cheese that was just in the game, and people were not good. You didn't have to rely on basketball IQ at the more competitive states in like Pro-Am. It was just more about how much you can abuse the game mechanics, right? So I'm going into it with that attitude. Then you had Community Day. I saw some of what the content creators were saying, and I had my expectations when I was getting my hands on the game. Now I want to show you guys just for proof. I'm not going to show this long, excuse me. I will get to there and show my Twitter in a little bit, but I just want to show you guys this as proof. I have actually played it all six times, 6 different builds, trying different things out. So I have played it already through. Now, 2K is sort of in this between spot and trying to have to appease casual gamers, non-competitive gamers, versus those that actually want to be as competitive as possible and want to play a good balanced game that relies more so on basketball IQ as opposed to, and of course, being able to play to your team's strength as opposed to just abusing the game mechanics. And one of the first things that people talked about in Community Day was the abused, like it was this blow-by animation. It kind of was reminiscent of past 2Ks, NBA 2Ks, right? And unfortunately, well, fortunately, they said that they had sort of nerfed it, Mike Wang, going into the demo, and nerfed it even more post-demo, right? So I played the demo, and I didn't see this problem at all. And then I have my Pro-Am team, fixing the 5, 6, 7 guys. They didn't have this problem at all either. So that let me know right off the rip that there is a disconnect right there between whatever the hell I'm playing and what these other guys are playing. And then, which I wanted to move to later, but this Mike Wang tweet that drops, and he's saying, thanks for the feedback. I increased the shot meter size so it's closer to 19. Stamina and movement speeds will get buffed as well. So I was trying to figure out what he meant by the latter, but I did see that a lot of people were complaining about the stamina thing. Now, if you paid attention to what Dazar said, who was a dev now, he was saying that Turbo is now supposed to be used as a burst. It's not supposed to be held on to, and you got to be selective with it. And I went into it with the mistake, like playing my first game, and I wasn't doing that, right? I was just holding it as if I was playing older games. And yes, my guy got tired real fast. But after I realized that that was the case, I was more selective. And then I didn't have this problem. But a lot of people were griping about the dribbling aspect because you do get tired faster. You can't just sit there and spam dribbles no matter how good of a playmaker you have. But also, they're just having issues with, again, the guys were getting tired. So it's showing me that there is a disconnect, right? And this is unfortunately where I can recognize, no matter how frustrated I get with this game, how the devs such as Mike Wang are in a tough position because they have guys like myself who are like, well, you did something good. Let's try to build on that. But then I see it as a step back when there's an immediate, okay, we got to change something. And it's not to say that the game's perfect, right? By any means. But and you do have to listen to what the community says and try to nullify those issues. I 100% agree, and that's what I'm saying is making it a little difficult here. And the separation is in the fact that what it feels like gets corrected is more so catering to people who want to abuse the game mechanics and maybe do things that they were able to get with and they don't know how to play another way, right? And that to me is what gets me about some of the 2K community. And this is real unique to this community because I don't even hear that. I know FIFA had a terrible game, but at least all the people were criticizing it for the gameplay. And the fact that you were able to do stupid stuff like you could break a team down, right? And you be 1v1 with the keeper and he makes this incredible save, but then you can score, 50 yards out the box, some crazy spin around 360. Like it's stupid, right? It doesn't require actual skill. It's like, well, finesse shots are not are sort of cheesy. They're cheesy, right? So why don't we just use that, right? So there's a disconnect, and I just feel like, unfortunately, because so many people are about the park, and we all know that there's different sliders between the park and the Pro-Am and the Jordan Rec. They've already admitted this last year. So I think that, my honest opinion, the best way to do that is going to be give these cheeses this arcadey ass, if they NBA Street type of park mode that they can play, and they can do all goofy ass shit that they would like to do, in which they're able to spam dribble and do whatever. But what I'm hoping doesn't happen, but what it sounds like is going to happen, I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, is that they're going to keep trying to cater to these people that abuse game mechanics, and that's going to leak into the most competitive mode, and that there is Pro-Am, which is supposed to be Hall of Fame, sliders, difficult, take good shots, understand your team strength, and play to it, right? Because people are complaining about the fact, I see people already complaining about the build. This is my player builder. I will give 2K credit. It's the best way they've done it in terms of creating a player. And I was worried that it was going to be another demigod situation where people were going to be able to make builds that could do every fucking thing. But that's not the case. And it shouldn't be. Now, I get everybody wants to be fucking KD, right? Everybody wants to be KD, but there's not a KD everywhere. And certainly when you're dealing with a competitive game, even KD in this day and age has some sort of weakness, right? You got to pick your spots, and you can make a more balanced player this year than what you've ever been able to create, and you can create things that you prioritize. I like that. I like that element that you got to pick and choose from not just the badges, but with the attributes as well in terms of what you want to apply. And this makes it better for the teams, the guys that like myself who emphasize Pro-Am and competitive play. We are going to be able to pick and choose what we want to prioritize, and that's going to give us the advantage if we make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success in terms of our strengths and having our weaknesses addressed in certain ways in terms of how we play. Now, this is a demo build that we played, and I don't know exactly how the end is going to play. I don't know how the Pro-Am is going to play. But I'm worrying because I didn't see the problems that a lot of people were griping about, specifically with the blow-by animations and stuff. I never saw that as a problem when I was playing this game. Now, what it sounds like people are doing, again, trying to go into it like last year. I seen a lot of guys from the community day playing, and they were getting D minuses and stuff, Ds when they're playing their first game. I never had that problem. My guy was able to hold his own maybe from the defensive end because that's what I prioritized. So it sounds like people making these offensive builds, maybe these offensive threats, not really that good on defense, not supposed to be that good on defense, and maybe they're getting caught with these blow-bys. That's what's supposed to happen, right? Now, maybe it needs to be toned down a little bit. I could maybe tell, but what I hope is not toned down to the point, and that's just using this as an example. Still don't know how the Pro-Am is going to play, but I'm hoping it's not toned down to the point to where it's, again, catering to the casual that made a mistake in making this playmaking guy that could shoot the lights out, doesn't have a lick of damn defense, and he's getting smoked by on the defensive end. Well, that's supposed to happen. Let him have to pay for the mistakes for making that build, right? That's not his strength. So what it does is it sort of nurse maybe the defenders. And I know we had lockdown problems. I think a lot of that stuff stemmed from, the sort of, again, cheesy animations, as well as the fact that the passing was utterly stupid in terms of you couldn't put the ball over somebody's head. With locks or lockdowns were kind of overpowered in a sense. If they can balance that element, right, fix passing, balance those elements, then I think the game is going in a good direction. Time will tell. We will see more so when it's the full game is out. We see the different sliders. I think the best way to do this is, again, you give these arcadey, cheesy folks the park, but you have to make it even more competitive than what it was last year, the Pro-Am. And maybe you put out a statement that says it is going to be significantly different. Do not come in here with that shit that you was thinking you were going to do, playing it on rookie, on your my player, or playing in a park, bringing that shit to the rec, or bringing that shit to the Pro-Am. But there's certainly a divide in terms of competitive people that want a competitive game. I'm seeing it. And people that just want to be able to do whatever the fuck they want with absolutely no consequences, specifically on the offensive end. And by that, I mean them making offensive builds and not having to pay for it. Like, there is a disconnect, man. And I hope that does those casual type of players. And not by casual, I'm using that word in a sense of not necessarily people that only play the game, which is, I guess, the proper way to describe a casual gamer as a guy that only plays it, again, casually. Doesn't play it. He plays it time and time again. Doesn't really clock a lot of hours. But I'm using this casual as a not as a person that, most of that want to create a demigod, right? That thinks that's okay, that every player can do fucking everything, right? That's what I'm meaning by casuals who are not expecting a simulation basketball game, are not expecting to have to rely on their basketball IQ to actually win games. They're expected to, definitely when you consider past NBA 2K games, expected to abuse game mechanics and then reap the benefits from it. So I think they've done positive things, and some people are disagreeing with me on it, which I'm fine with, in terms of the builder. I think they've done some positive things there, but hopefully what doesn't happen, and this is where the devs have to say, you know what, we don't care what you have to say as a casual gamer, or we don't care what you have to say as a person that thinks they should be able to do whatever they want and be able to, basically they don't want to pay for their mistakes, right? They don't want to pay for playing dumb, essentially. At some point for the competitive play, and I've said this word 112 times, but specifically for a competitive play, the devs have to, Mike Wang, everybody has to be like, you know what, at some point in time, we can't make this game fit them, because those guys are going to always find a complaint, especially because it's making it harder for them. It's making them to have to be smarter gamers, right? More cerebral. They have to be mindful of the decisions that they're making, not just with their build, but when they get on the court, the decisions that they're making with their player, right? At some point in time, Mike Wang and the gang have to be like, I'm sorry, you have to adjust to our game. That's what all other competitive game, you have an esport now, 2K. If you're going to be taken, seriously from a competitive standpoint, that has to be what it is. It's like, we will fix things that are actual problems, but the problems that we are fixing are actual, like, legitimate issues with the game. Like, legitimate issues with the game. Maybe there needs to be buffs, nerfs, and so forth along the way, because, again, the game's not perfect, and you do want some sort of balance. But what you don't want to happen is people are specifically playing to their weakness and thinking it's supposed to play like a strength. You can't do that if the game is supposed to be competitive. So I'm afraid that casuals are going to ruin what seems to be 2K, building from what they did in 2K19, which was a cheesy-ass mess of a game. But it was an improvement nonetheless from the last year's game, from 2K18. They look like they're building on that, moving in a positive direction, but they have to maintain that shit. And hopefully the casuals don't ruin it, because they're expecting to play a non-competitive game where they could do whatever the fuck they want and not have to think about it. All I'm asking for is a game, and I know I'm a minority in a sense, because there's a lot of people that play the park versus people that play Pro-Am, and those are usually different kind of communities, to be fair, and I understand that, and that's why I'm saying maybe the middle ground is giving them the park, because I'm like, I'm so done with that shit. I tried to play that shit last year, and I'm like, dude, this game is a joke. This is an arcade-ass game. This is not even fun for me. It's not even a fun arcade game. So give them that, but maybe not even for the rec, but specifically for the Pro-Am, The game needs to be, I would say, as cerebral as possible, as difficult as possible, where people are having to play to their strengths, being punished for their weaknesses, and being punished for the dumb play. And the people that have high basketball IQ, maybe running plays, maybe hitting their weaknesses, are being rewarded for being smarter than the other players, not being awarded for, which is unfortunately what happened last game, having a set build, cheesing the game, and taking just ignorant ass shots. Let's be 100 with it, and abusing certain dribble moves and shit like that. Right? You're moving in a good direction. I think it looks less spammy, looks less cheesy. Don't really know until the full game comes out. Playing on Hall of Fame sliders, we'll see. But casuals seem to be more than ever, and it's always been like this, to be fair, but it seems more than ever, because even when they move in a direction that I feel is a good move, you're having this large community of individuals that are like, nah, bro, like, we don't like this. It's too difficult. It's too hard. So that's where I'm at with it. I know this was a long-winded video, but I wanted to give a breakdown of where I'm at and what I'm seeing unfold, unfortunately. And I just want Mike to know, as well as other gamers know, because when I dropped my last video on NBA 2K, I got these comments talking about, dude, you're speaking to the choir. You're talking to people that, like myself, that want to be competitive, and that's hopefully what I want to be a voice for. And help now that I'm, talking more about some of the games that I play, because when I play sports games like this, I'm in it for the competition, all the cosmetic shit. I don't care. And I know there's a lot of people that unfortunately get overshadowed that view it in a similar way. But again, they're getting sort of overshadowed by those that care about cheese and goofy ass, almost. I ain't trying to take shots, but you got some goofy ass people that are part of this community, homie. Like some goofy ass 2K community cats that being room temperature IQ. Let's just say that's what it is. And there's some competitive guys out there like myself, and I just want to be a voice for you all and let you know that you ain't alone, certainly in that element. And there's other guys, again, my whole crew of people, we're sitting there playing this game, and then I'm reading off these comments, sending these tweets, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Who had these problems? We didn't have these problems. So that's where I'm at. Hopefully you guys can, relate. Drop your comments down. Let me know if you see eye to eye. And if you even got some gripes, we can have some discussions about it in terms of you playing the demo and what you think about it, and certainly in the direction that I'm going with the competitive play. Until next time, homies, y'all be easy.